Namaste. Blessings to you. So today we are starting standing. So having your feet down underneath the hips, spread out the toes. Just stand in a kind of relaxed manner, arms hanging down. Either soften or close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, maybe just try and focus on the tip of the nose. But if you can, close your eyes so it takes your awareness inwards, because we spend so much of our time in our head that we want to take our awareness into our body. And notice how as soon as you close your eyes, you become so much more aware of your body. And just use this time to check in. Just simply noticing how you're feeling physically, energetically, emotionally, with no judgment, no criticism, just simple awareness, simple curiosity. As this week we are focusing on SWADHYAYA, self-study. So that also refers to studying sacred text, ancient text, but studying of ourselves. So being aware of our thoughts, our habits, our behaviors, our habitual behaviors, how we behave in a daily basis, because our behavior on the mat often reflects our behavior off the mat, and vice versa. So as Patanjali said, study thyself and discover the divine. Now it's our ego self that is the judgmental one. That's what causes our fear, our doubt, our comparison, our resentment, our envy. And believe me, it arises in all of us. Even I have moments of comparison. I think, oh, I'm not good enough. They're better than me. They're younger than me. They're blah, blah, blah. They've got a better camera. Blah, blah, blah. So it's about connecting with and recognizing our divinity, that part of us that is one with the universe, that is nature, that is love. And so the affirmation we'll be returning to over the course of this session is I choose love. So instead of being fearful, instead of doubting yourself, instead of criticizing yourself, choose love, choose to be loving, choose to just enjoy being in your body, but also be curious. Notice the thoughts that arise. Notice the sensations that arise. Notice your habitual behaviors, because it's when we do that, when we are constantly observing, then we can continually become an ever better version of ourselves. It's not about the fact that we're imperfect, because there's no such thing as perfect, but it's about constantly finding ways to be even happier, because we're not happy when we're judging ourselves or criticizing ourselves, right? When we feel at one, when we feel at peace, when we feel kind of confident and in the flow, that's when we're happy, and we all deserve to feel that way. So I choose love. As you breathe in, imagine breathing from your roots to your crown, filling your body with breath. As you breathe out from the crown to the roots, imagine emptying the body, breathing all the breath out. And opening your eyes, taking your feet just a little bit wider, hands on the waist, and drawing nice big circles. Loosening up into the hips, remembering the body loves circles, cycles. Everything in nature goes in circles, in cycles. Going around the other way. Get a nice deep breath in. And breathing all the way out. Coming back to center, then circling the upper body. So inhale up and around. Exhale forward and across. Tighten up your thigh muscles. Tighten up your kneecaps. Keep the elbows drawn back, and if you start to feel dizzy at all, then go even slower. So there's no rush whatsoever. Remember, it's about honoring your body and noticing when that voice comes, oh, I should be doing X, Y, Z, I should be going quicker, I should be going lower, blah, blah, blah. Remember, that's your ego. If you wish, if it feels good to do so, you can release the arms and go all the way down. Even if you don't touch the floor, it's all good. Or you can stay with the hands on your hips. It's totally up to you, whatever feels good for you today. Inhaling up, exhale, forward down. Remember, the aim isn't about touching the floor. If you touch the floor, great. If you don't, great. It's all about just loosening up. Next time you come up, pause at the top. Bring the hands back to the waist and just go around the other way. Now inhaling up and around. Exhale. If there's any discomfort in the back, then don't hinge back. Just come upright. If it feels okay to hinge back slightly, then do so. Make sure you're squeezing your butt. Spread out your toes, pressing into all four corners of your feet. Again, if you wish, if it feels good to do so, you can release the arms and come all the way down. Again, whatever feels right for you. Again, next time you come up, pause at the top, take the feet a little bit wider, take the arms out to the side, start to draw little circles backwards, drawing those circles backwards. Inhale, hinge forward just to a flat back position. Exhale, hinge back, squeeze your butt. Then inhale forward, keep the legs straight, stretch out those hamstrings. Exhale back, so this helps to balance the hormones as well. And it's good for the brain because you're working on doing two things at once. Breathing in and out, and in and out. Come back to center. Then see if you can hold on to opposite elbows. If you can't quite reach the elbows, just hold on to the forearms. And imagine drawing a big circle with the upper body. You can go at your own pace. Don't rush. Nice deep breaths in and out. And then change direction. So loosening up into your ribs, stretching out through the shoulders. And coming back to center, reach the arms up, shake them out, shake them all the way down, shake out the whole body. And release, come back, come to the front edge of your mat and grab yourself a brick in case you may need it. Bring your big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, relax the shoulders. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down the center line, bend your knees, allow your heart to follow your hands. Bring your fingertips to the floor in front of you, or if the floor is too far away, use your brick. You're going to inhale, lift your heels as high as you can, bringing your chest, your thighs to your chest, and then exhale, plant the heels down, opening up the backs of the legs. Inhale, lift those heels as high as you can, and exhaling as you lower. Again, as you're doing that, being aware of the thoughts that are going through your mind. And press into the big toes and little toes. This time, you're going to lift the heels and you're going to come all the way down into that toe squat. You're going to take your brick and you're going to place it behind your heels. So you're resting your heels on the brick, knees together, so your spine is nice and tall. Even if you can do it without, try it with the brick today. Bring your palms together, shoulders relaxed. So you're still stretching out the feet and getting that position, but just not worrying about wobbling all over the place. You're going to inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, bring them back to your heart. Inhale, reach the arms up, lengthen through the spine. And exhaling, hands to heart. Breathe in, extend. Breathe out, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. One more. So you should start to feel your toe muscles engaging as well, especially when you take the hands up. Hold it for a second at the top. And bring the hands down. Then release your brick. Bring your fingertips beside your toes and slowly start to straighten your legs, but not all the way. So you're still keeping your fingertips beside your toes. We're going to take the right foot back. So lift that foot up, stretch the foot out, land it down, find your lunge position. Front knee over ankle. We're going to come into plank pose. So bring your hands flat, lift up through your belly, and scoot that foot back into plank. Make sure you haven't tensed your shoulders. So really firm up your thighs, close your front ribs, scoop your belly button in, and relax your shoulders. Breathe here. Imagine stretching the feet in one direction and the crown of the head in the other. Now I'm going to come into a position called Astangasana. I'm going to come into it slightly different way. So just drop to your knees and then come down onto your belly. Now I'm going to come to it to a slightly different way because I've seen some people do some really funky things coming into this position from plank. So you want to imagine 8 points of the body in contact with the floor. The first point is your chin. So you're going to rest your chin on the floor. So you're looking at the tip of your nose. The second point, 2 points, is your chest, then your hands. So your hands maybe beside your chest or slightly forward, slightly further back. Elbows tucked in, shoulders relaxed. So your elbows are kind of like grasshopper legs. So play around with where you need your hands. Then bring your toes together and just draw your knees in a little way, lifting your hips up. Then tuck the toes under. So you've got your chin, your chest, your hands, your knees, your toes. So that 8-limb position. And just hold and breathe here. Because I've seen some people come into some, I'm not quite sure how they do it. They kind of like, I don't quite know how they end up doing it. So sometimes coming into it from a different way gets it into your muscle memory. So get this into noticing how it feels. So you're not hovering off the floor. The points are definitely in contact with the floor. Elbows are tucked in, shoulders relaxed. You're gazing at the tip of your nose. Take a full deep breath in. As you breathe out, untuck the toes, slide the knees back, firm up the thighs, press your pubic bone down into the floor, and roll the shoulders back. So you're looking to a little cobra. So there's no weight on the hands. Stretch through the toes. Head is in a neutral position. And from here, we're going to press back into, or preparing for down face dog. So you lift up through your core. I always kind of slide the knees in a little bit. Sit back to the heels. So that might mean adjusting your hands towards you. Try and bring your ears in alignment with your arms first. Relax your shoulders, then press into the hands and stretch the heels towards the floor. Don't worry if the heels don't touch the floor. You can inhale, bend the knees, chest to thighs. Exhale, straighten the legs. Press through the heels. As you're doing that, make sure your palms are flat. And imagine you're trying to make a perfect handprint in the mat. And lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. We're going to prepare to jump forward. So imagine using your legs, firing off with the legs. And then you're going to push with the legs, press down with the hands, and land back in your squat. You might not make it all the way to the front of the mat. That's okay. Practice makes progress. So you're on your toes in your squat position. Relax the shoulders. Take another nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, land your heels, slowly fold. Remember, I choose love, especially if you start judging yourself, criticizing yourself. I choose love. Then bend your knees. We're going to roll up through the spine, rebuilding the spine. Keep inhaling as you reach the arms above your head. Exhale, release the hands down. If you're not quite at the front of the mat, then just take a little step. Bring your toes together. Make sure your brick is close by. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees. Allow your heart to follow your hands. Again, fingertips either on the floor or on your brick. And inhale, lift the knees, lift your heels, press into your big toes and little toes. Hold for a second and exhale, lower. As you're doing it this time, also think of lifting through your core. So you could, imagine if you wanted to, you could lift your hands off the floor, even if only for a second. So you're working more muscles. Again, smile, be kind to yourself. Just see it as a play, exploring, we're playing, okay? It's not the end of the world. It's not too serious. This time, bend the knees, come all the way down to your squat. Then pop your brick. So your heels are on the brick. A brick is a bit better for this because then your heels are still quite high. Blocks, the rectangle ones are a little bit low, but if that's all you've got, then just use that. Hug the knees in, sorry baby. Spine nice and tall, palms together, shoulders relax. Inhale, extend the arms out. Exhale, press the hands, feel the chest muscles engaging. Inhale, reach the arms out, hold for a second. You feel your toe muscles working here. And exhale, hands to heart. Breathe in, arms forward. Breathe out, hands to prayer. One more. I choose love. And then bring the hands down, release your brick. Breathe in. As you breathe out, slowly start to straighten your legs. So if your hands start to lift off the floor, then stop there. So we're going to step the left foot back, step it back, land so that that front knee is in line with the ankle. So you're in half plank here. Think of lifting up through the core so you're not just hanging out into your hip flexors. Really stretch through that heel. Flatten your palms. We've got Mr. Felix here and come into plank position. Now just check that you haven't suddenly tensed your shoulders. So relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, bring a little smile to your face. Remember, it's not the end of the world, it's all good. You can be on your knees if you need to. If not, a nice full deep breath in and out. So this time we're going to see if we can come down into that position. So bring your toes together. If not, come flat to the floor again. Lower your knees. Bring your chin and chest to the floor. And so if you get kind of stuck and you can't find the position, come flat. Find your chin, adjust your hands, slide the knees in a little bit, tuck the toes, and find the position from there. So again, like I always say, it doesn't matter how you get there. Get there if you can. Just get there, however works for you. And then once you start kind of getting it into your muscle memory, then it's easier to come into it from the correct way, if you like. There again, just another breath in. As you breathe out, untuck the toes, slide the knees back. Inhale, roll the shoulders, find your cobra. So engaging the back body. Again, elbows in, press pubic bone down into the floor. After your exhale, now lift up. Again, slide the knees in a little bit if that works for you. Bump to heels. Slide your shoulder blades away from your ears before you start. And then slowly lift into your down face dog. And you can inhale, bend your knees, chest to thighs. Exhale, press heels. But try and keep your ears in alignment with your arms. And lift the heels, bend the knees. So we're using the legs. Push with the legs. As you push with the legs, press into the hands and land. Again, it doesn't matter if you don't get all the way. Just come as far forward as you can. And then maybe see if you can find the balance here without the brick. Then drop the heels if you can. Come onto your back or onto your seat even. And then stretch out onto your back. Just going to do one little bit of core strengthening here. So imagine placing your hands underneath where your bum meets your thighs. Scoop the belly button in. Breathe in. As you breathe out, take your legs to about a 45-degree angle. Relax the thighs, spread out the balls of the feet. Inhale, take the legs wide. Exhale, cross them over. Inhale, wide. Exhale, cross. Breathing in and out, in and out. Breathe in and out through the nose. If there's any pull on your back, then take the legs a little bit higher. Alternatively, if you want to work a little bit harder and there's no pull on your back, then take the legs a little bit lower. Short, light breaths in and out through the nose. Remember, I choose love. I choose love. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hug the knees in. Gently rock a little bit side to side. Just take Shavasana for a moment. Legs a little bit wider than hip width. Arms out, palms upwards. Close your eyes and simply notice how you're feeling now after that practice. Again, it's not about being right or wrong. It's not about there being an only way. It's about being curious. I always kind of imagine, like, you know, when you're a child and you've got a new toy at Christmas and you play with it to see, you know, what does this do if I do this? And that's how I kind of see when I'm on the mat. It's like, oh, what happens if I put my foot here or if I stretch like this? You know, how's it going to feel if I do da la la? And I learned a long time ago to not worry if I can't do something, because most of the time, the reason I really wanted to do a particular pose was because it looked impressive, and that's ego. So I wanted to do something that looked impressive. It may not even have felt good, but I wanted to show off basically, and that is when our ego comes in. And when we learn to acknowledge that, for one, and learn that there's no benefit from it, either mentally, physically, energetically, there's no benefit. You're far better off honouring where you're at and leaving the mat feeling good, feeling happy, feeling positive, and not being injured, basically. In all my years of teaching, I've never had anyone injure themselves in my class. And I think that's because I'm always going on about listen to your body, not your mind, not your ego, to your body. Your body never lies. Your body doesn't care whether the person next to you can do wheel and you can't. Your body doesn't care if you can do wheel and they can't. Okay, it's only our ego. And as I said at the beginning, the ego self versus the divine self. Study thyself and discover the divine. And it's our ego that experiences fear, that experiences doubt, that experiences criticism, that experiences comparison, that experiences competition. Whereas our divine self, our basic nature, if you like, is the one that feels love, that feels happy being in our body, expressing ourselves, expressing life on the mat. It's our divinity that shows compassion, sharing, oneness, openness. that is okay if they can't do a certain pose, because they know it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So I choose love. So breathe that in and let it go. Now you can decide to stay here a while longer. If you're ready to finish your practice, then start to stretch out the arms and legs in whatever way feels good for you right now. Remembering that changes on any given day. The temperature depicts, how our bodies are. Obviously, when it's a bit colder, our bodies are a little bit tighter, and our needs change. For many years, I was always doing kind of fast-paced power stuff, and now some days it's nice just to slow down. Some days actually my practice is just sitting, meditating, which is actually what yoga is about. So it's about finding stillness in our body and in our mind. So when you are ready, bring yourself back up, bring your hands to your heart. I choose love. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day. Any questions, any comments, any requests, please, that sounds really squeaky, please do reach out. Much love. Mwah.